All right, rebuttal evidence?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Depp calls Walter Hamada of Warner Brothers.
All right, Mr. Hamada.
Your Honor, just to clarify, this is by deposition, so we may need that.
Okay, well, okay.
I apologize, I should have provided notice.
That's all right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If we could get the, yeah.
Hamada, what do you work for Warner Brothers Entertainment, Inc.?
Yes, I do.
In what capacity?
My title is President of DC-based film productions for Warner Brothers.
What, if anything, you did to prepare to testify for Warner Brothers as to topics 2 through 18?
I did not do anything to prepare for this, other than the meeting that I had with the attorneys.
Did Warner Brothers have a contract with Amber Heard to perform in Aquaman 2?
Yes, there was we had an option agreement for her for Aquaman 2.
Do you know what it is?
It looks like a standard contract between an actor and the studio.
And which actor was involved in this? Which actor was a party to this contract?
Amber Heard. It's a contract for Amber Heard for the role of Mara in Aquaman and its sequels.
Which studio contracted with Amber Heard?
Warner Brothers.
When did you come to be the president of DC?
At the beginning of 2018.
Mr. Hamada, was Ms. Heard ever released by Warner Brothers from the Aquaman 2 contract, or what you call the option agreement?
No.
Was she released from her Aquaman 2 contract on or about February 22, 2021?
No.
Was Ms. Heard ever rehired for Aquaman 2 by Warner Brothers?
No.
Did Ms. Heard receive a pay increase for Aquaman 2?
No.
Why not?
We, as a rule, as a company, we go through a lot of trouble when we make our deals with our actors. We get options on them for subsequent movies. And I think traditionally, prior to me joining the company, every option was renegotiated. And one of the things that we were trying to put a rein in on was not renegotiating every deal, with the understanding that people come in and make these deals and they have an understanding that there will be options and that there is a deal in place. And it was a big part of our philosophy that we were going to hold people to their options moving forward.
But did Warner Brothers at any point in time reduce Ms. Heard's role in Aquaman 2?
The role in the film the size of the role in the film that she has was determined in the early development of the script, which would have happened in 2018, I would say.
Well,
so, and from there, beyond normal development, the role the character's involvement in the story was sort of what it was from the beginning.
Was her role ever reduced for any reason?
No, I mean, again, from the early stages of the development of the script, the movie was built around the character of Arthur and the character of Orm, Arthur being Jason Momoa and Orm being Patrick Wilson. So they were always the two co-leads of the movie.
Did Warner Brothers ever plan to portray Ms. Heard as the co-lead in Aquaman 2?
No, the movie was always pitched as a buddy comedy between Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson.
Was Ms. Heard cast in Aquaman?
Yes, she was.
Was Ms. Heard cast in Aquaman 2?
Yes, she was.
Was Ms. Heard paid for her services in Aquaman 1?
Yes.
Was Ms. Heard paid for her services in Aquaman 2?
Yes.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected in any way by anything said by Johnny Depp?
No.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected by anything said by Adam Waldman?
No.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected by anything said by anybody representing Johnny Depp?
No.
Was there any delay in Warner Brothers exercising the option to cast Ms. Heard in Aquaman 2?
Yes, there was.
How long a delay was there?
I don't know, probably weeks.
What was the cause of the delay?
There were conversations about potentially recasting.
Who was the producer?
Peter Safran,
Who was the director?
James Wan.
Did Warner Brothers believe that those concerns were legitimate?
Yeah, I mean, I had no reason not to believe the director and the producer of the movie.
And you are testifying today as a representative of Warner, correct?
Yes, I am.
What, if any, creative concerns did Warner Brothers have about casting Amber Heard as Mira in Aquaman 2?
It was the concerns that were brought up at the wrap of the first movie, production of the first movie, which is the issue of chemistry. Did the two have chemistry? I think editorially they were able to make that relationship work in the first movie, but there was a concern that it took a lot of effort to get there, and would we be better off recasting, finding someone who had better, more natural chemistry with Jason Momoa and move forward that way.
Did Warner Brothers take any steps affirmatively to audition other actresses for the role of Mira in Aquaman 2?
No, we did not.
Other than the creative concerns and concerns about chemistry you testified about, was there any other reason Warner Brothers delayed in picking up Ms. Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
No, it was all concerns about whether she was the right bit of casting for the movie.
What role, if any, did Ms. Heard's dispute with Johnny Depp have in Warner Brothers' delay in picking up Ms. Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
There was none from our end.
At any point in time, was Warner Brothers considering paying Ms. Heard more money for Aquaman 2 than is set forth in the option contract you previously identified?
No, as I said, we were determined to hold our actors to their option agreements.
Would Warner Brothers have paid Ms. Heard more money on Aquaman 2 if it had picked up her option earlier?
No.
At any time from the beginning of history through today, did Warner Brothers ever release Ms. Heard from the Aquaman 2 contract?
No.
At any point in time from the beginning of history to today, did Warner Brothers rehire Ms. Heard for Aquaman 2?
No, because we just picked up her option.
And when is the last time you spoke with Rob Cohen relating in any manner to whether to exercise the option on Amber Heard for Aquaman 2?
No, it would have been the same time that I was having those conversations with Peter Safran
So
in 2020.
Did you speak with Zack Snyder at all relating to whether to exercise the option for Amber Heard on Aquaman 2?
No, I've not had any conversations with Zack Snyder.
Did you speak at all with Jason Momoa in preparation for your deposition today?
No.
Have you ever spoken with Jason Momoa about any issues relating to chemistry between he and Amber Heard?
Yes.
When did you speak with Jason Momoa about chemistry issues between he and Amber Heard?
It would have been in that same time period where we were prior to green light of the movie.
Now, you were asked some questions about scripts. Did you review any of the drafts of the script for Aquaman 2?
Yes.
When?
Part of my role is I read all the drafts of the scripts as they come in.
When was the first script for Aquaman 2?
Oh, boy. I cannot tell you. Probably in 2018, the latter part of 2018 would be my guess.
And how many versions of the script had been written by the beginning of 2021 for Aquaman 2?
Oh, there were probably half dozen drafts of the script. Brought up.
All right, what, if anything, did Rob Cohen say to you about chemistry? What specifically about the chemistry between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa?
Just the fact that they didn't really have a lot of chemistry together. The reality is it's not uncommon on movies for two leads to not have chemistry, and that it's sort of movie magic and editorial, the ability to sort of put performances together, and with the magic of, a great score and how you put the pieces together, you can fabricate sort of that chemistry. And so I think at the end of the day, I think if you watch the movie, they look like they had great chemistry. But I just know that through the course of the post-production that it took a lot of effort to get there. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's very easy. You just put the characters on the screen together and they work. And sometimes it's harder. And so...
Can you give me anything more specific about what it was with Amber Heard and Jason Momoa that was difficult for the chemistry?
No, because it's like what makes a movie star a movie star. Like you know it when you see it, and the chemistry wasn't there.
Now, you've used the term fabricated a number of times. What did you do to fabricate the chemistry between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa?
Well, those are just, it's editorial. A good editor and a good filmmaker can pick the right takes, can pick the right moments, and put scenes together. Again, score is a big, the music in a scene makes a big difference. It can make a happy scene feel sadder or a sad scene feel happier. And so it was sort of it's just the magic of post-production, editing, sound design, music, etc.
And what do you mean by fabricating, though? I mean, were they literally falsifying, or were they just picking the best music? Let me finish my question. Were they picking the best music and picking the best looks because that's their job and that's what you do on every scene?
That is what we do in post-production. That's what filmmakers do. This is, on any production, you're doing that. You're putting performances together. Sometimes it's easier than others. This one was more difficult, because of the lack of chemistry between the two. But they were able to, James Wan and the editor were able to get it to a place where the end result actually works. And it's great.
And in fact, that's the job of every filmmaker, right? Is to put all the combinations together to make the most successful production.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what has been marked as exhibit number 5. It's ALH 18247. And this is a text message exchange between James Wan and Amber Heard. And you mentioned James Wan was the director of Aquaman 2, is that correct? And
That's correct.
And Aquaman, the first one, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And James is texting to Amber on August 25, 2018. You rated really high with the audience, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Do you see that?
Yes.
This is August 25, 2018. What's going on August 25, 2018 that would cause the director to send a text message to Amber saying...
That'd be a test screening. So during our post-production of the movie, we test the movie with an audience, and the audience tells us what they liked and what they didn't like. And so that's what he's referring to there.
And they really liked Amber Heard, correct?
Yes, she did. She tested well.
It hit $1 billion, is that correct?
Yeah.
And more specifically, did you play any role in the determination to communicate to Amber's representatives that Warner Brothers was considering not exercising her option?
Yeah, probably in the sense of we had the conversations, and I believe, if I recall, we had, that's where Peter Safran offered to reach out to the agent and express which direction we were leaning.
Have you seen any document that says there was any chemistry issues between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa in Aquaman 1?
Documents? No, I mean, those were all conversations.
But if Jason came back and James Wan came back, you were guaranteeing that Amber Heard would play Mira, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And Jason Momoa was able to negotiate a different compensation structure, was he not, for Aquaman 2?
That's true. He did renegotiate.
Now, Aquaman was the highest grossing DC film ever for Warner Brothers, was it not?
Yes, it was.
And what, if any, issues did you have with Amber Heard in Aquaman 2?
My understanding is actually the production went very smoothly.
All right, thank you. Your next witness.